What is up, everybody? It's your boy CrazeMaze98, aka Nicholas Morales, founder of the EHG Community. Welcome to another episode of the EHG Podcast. I was supposed to do a walkthrough today. I was supposed to do something of Darksiders, probably continue with Darksiders, but I'm gonna actually put this in for today. I think this is something that needs to be stated out. So I think we have all, I think a lot of us, especially for some people who watch my channel and for some people who, who are major gamers and people who love Pokemon, have bought the brand new Sword and Shield game. I have bought the game. I bought the game in spite of certain things like hashtag Game Freak lied. I kind of find it very, very difficult to want to go ahead and support those type of people, because it kind of makes this whole topic more than what it's supposed to be. So the reason behind this is because people think that things like Game Freak have done things like Game Freak using or reusing models, taking away things like the Pokedex, the GTS, and saying that the game has less contents than what it's supposed to have. So that's what a major issue was. And now it got to a point where people say Game Freak lied, or they try to boycott Pokemon to a point where it's they wouldn't get Sword and Shield. So, in hence of that, because of that, a lot of people have done things like death threats to the Pokemon devs, and it's gotten to another point where another hashtag was made. It was called Thank You Game Freak, in response to those death threats, because of the fact that it was a major thing, especially when you're trying to send a death threat to a dev or someone who's doing their job. Now, I'm sorry if you can hear that. That is the freaking people doing the lawn and everything in my complex. Like seriously, they can't do it on another day, fellas. It's not like the freaking hedges grow every fucking week. But back to the topic. As a person who has the game, I do have the game, because I did buy Shield. I'm still playing it. I kind of find it enjoyable. Certain things like animations, especially for the game, I don't see too much of a problem with. I think people have a tendency of nitpicking on the animations here and there, and people don't like being called out about it. The problem is with nitpicking, because I had the conversation or a disagreement with someone over this, and it was the way this person thought with her friends. It seems more that they were probably just given everything in their lives to a point where it's they had a silver spoon, and then it was literally it was literally giving a gold edging, a little gold edging to it, and then it would have diamonds all over it. That's how much of a spoiled brat ideal it was. It was just based off of a couple of seconds of animation, and I don't understand the ridiculousness over a couple of seconds of animation that that you got nitpick on that, because it's me taking a whole type of anime and then the anime for one split second looked weird, and it's why are you stopping it at that one split second? Why does the game look bad? Because of this 5-second animation. And then I don't get why people talk about criticizing games, because there is a thing called constructive criticism. It's if I go ahead and decide to criticize something of a movie, and I just say it's bad, and then let's say the creator of the movie was okay, what was bad about it? What can we do to make a difference? And you can't just say, oh no, it's just bad. That doesn't fucking help in any type of way. It's just that's not constructive in any type of way. I see a bunch of these people just making all these mods. Oh, this is what they could have done. This is this and that. You have this ability to do this, but you don't do it. It kind of makes me laugh, because it's you have the ability to become a dev, or you have the ability to do this and try to go ahead and make things better, but you don't do it. You just learn it to like criticize. For what reason? And people do this for a job, and then you just do it for fun. You're not making money off of it. Who cares about what you think? Because you're not actually doing no process or any type of way of trying to provide your family with it. So it's like, what the hell is the point of that? It's like me learning to go ahead and be like, let's say, it's like me learning how to play Magic the Gathering, and I'm never gonna go ahead and either play the fucking game or even become a judge for Magic the Gathering. Like, it's like you want to do it for fun, then great. But then when you get to a point where you're criticizing, and then you're like, oh, you know what, you're not in the industry, so it's not really that big of a deal, then they have the right to say that. Because it gets kind of weird that, you know, how someone who made it into the industry is trying to be taught by, or trying to be blown off by someone who just tries to go ahead and learns what they're doing for, you know, for fun, where it's just a living, to those who actually made the game. Now, I understand people have the right to criticize or not like the game, or like it the game, like that. They have the right to dislike or like the game, but the issue with it is just that it goes far out the window when you have people, like, you know, write threatening messages to the dev. It goes way far to a point where people will make you feel bad for buying the game. So it's like, if I buy the game and I don't see the issue with the animation, and then people get upset because I buy the game, it's like, that's absolutely ridiculous. You know, I could go ahead and say right now the game, like the hashtag Game Freak lied people who followed are absolutely nothing but idiots, because they just think about like 2-second animations and things that don't matter, but they have the opinion and they have the right to feel that way. But at one point, it's like, you're doing the same to people who like the game. You know, it's like, I don't see the problem with I don't see the problem with having an opinion on this, but nitpicking on the little things makes no sense. Like, a lot of people are upset that the whole entire Pokédex is not gonna be there. It's like, are you actually gonna use 900 to 1,000 Pokemon? Like, you're gonna limit yourself to 6 Pokemon if you're a competitive player, and you're gonna put it in a specific team, and then with that, you know, you're not gonna use anybody else besides that team. It makes no sense. Like you're upset because they cut that to half, but you're not even gonna use probably even 200 or 100 amount of the Pokemon. You're just gonna go ahead and literally get to a point where it's like, oh, I leveled up all my Pokemon, and you're done. You're gonna resort to only using like 6 of the Pokemon in your party, which like probably like 4 or 5 of them are probably gonna be legendaries anyway. So it kind of makes no sense, especially when you're trying to go ahead and teach them specific moves. You're gonna go ahead and keep those for any type of ability to be higher in the competitive scene. Now, they also got rid of part of the Pokédex to change the competitive scene, and I don't know why people are upset about that. Also in the competitive scene, because that's what a meta does. A meta in any type of game tends to change. Like, you can't keep the meta the same, because then the game tends to lose its playability. It tends to get boring over time. Now, my thing about it is just that, like, you know, people. I also had an argument with this guy who claimed to be a Pokemon competitor. I'm like, dude, you would know this. You would know this. In fighting games, it does that. Overwatch, it does that. League of Legends, it does that. Especially, it does that to go ahead and make other characters more playable. It's just, it's absolutely weird how people make these criticisms and don't have the knowledge behind it. It's so damn weird. And then, what makes it even fucking worse, it's like, you know, they're upset because of the model usage. It's like, they're like, oh, they lied to us about new models. They don't have to tell you if they use new models or same models in any type of way. They don't have to tell you that. Whether they lie to you or not, they don't have to tell you that in any type of way. There's been a lot of games that have used similar models or same models. They just look different, or they have just been sculpted different in the 3D process. Like for instance, I'll give you an example. Like I could go ahead and take Jin Kazama from Tekken 3 and sculpt him up to look like Jin Kazama from Tekken 7. It's possible. It's with, the actual shading, with the actual layers of the character, with things like, like taking the same model and fixing it up. I just don't understand, because a lot of things, like from taking, a model from the 3DS and bringing it up to the Switch is a little bit different. With that, especially when you have enhanced, different types of graphics, like for us it's like 1080 HD, but then it's like 720 on the handheld part of the Switch. They take the models and then they bring them up to and scale them. So that is hard work on doing so, but also it gets kind of difficult to a point where they can't do it properly. So they would have to use things like, probably I would suggest similar rigging to the models, especially similar movements to the models, but then reshape everything like properly to go ahead and fit into that the amount of, like, I would say the proper viewing, or I would say how the how it's supposed to look like in 1080 HD, or if possibly for other systems like 4K. I don't see, even if the models were used, I don't see why they're bad. They're not even bad in the process. These models are still good to use, and with the models still being good to use, instead of just having to resculpt every 300 to 400 Pokemon, it will be easier to just put them in. Now, people would get upset, and people would say, "Oh, they should have taken more time on this game." That also doesn't work out, because gamers tend to be very, very impatient, especially for games like Kingdom Hearts. They have an impatient issue with Kingdom Hearts, and an impatient issue with Final Fantasy. It kills so much because the developer cannot provide everything for the gamer, because the gamer will get so upset about it. Now, I heard a lot of people were so upset about the GTS thing, the Global Trade Center also as well, or Global Trade Station, I believe that's what it's called. Now, I'm gonna tell you why it's great that it's gone. With constant, hacking of the game, there was many hacked Pokemon, there was many hacked, shinies, many hacked I would say legendaries, to a point where you can actually find 18 Arceus or 45 different Groudons, and it's ridiculous, and it's really ridiculous, that people have to hack into the game to get what they want, and there was things like Game Shark, there was things for major levels where you could actually just go ahead and plop in like a Game Shark thing to your 3DS or the regular DS and get 14 Arceuses. It's it was absolutely horrendous and ridiculous. I think honestly, when it came to one thing that kind of threw me off about the game was one thing that kind of threw me off about the game majorly was, I would say the starters were not too good for me. I went with Score Bunny, so I have a Chimerace right now as a starter, but I didn't like the other two. I didn't like the grass starter and the water starter. I thought the bunny was okay. I thought the monkey was okay. The grass monkey was okay, but the lizard was not too appealing. But the bunny was more appealing than the grass monkey. It went from here and there. I just had mixed feelings on that. I do like certain things, especially like, you know, with link battles, like the raid battles. I thought that was pretty cool. I like that they focused on that aspect, where the animations are amazing on that. The animations and certain moves are amazing. I don't really see why people were complaining about the animation of moves. Again, that was something that was absolutely ridiculous and like so babyish to complain about, because it's not really that big of an animation, nor is it there like something special when you do something like double kick, or there's not like a freaking like a whole thing of fireworks going off because you're doing tail wag. It's ridiculous. And the problem is it's like when people try to say stuff like, oh, this is not worth $60, that makes me laugh even more. The consumer has no place in anything of money-wise or anything of a game unless you're getting a refund. There's no way you can go ahead and say anything of the production of a game or nor the price of a game, because of the fact that $60 for a game now compared to where it's $60 back then for older games or older titles is not a lot. It really isn't. Because if I were to pay $60, let's say for a GameCube game or below that, to like, let's say Nintendo 64 or probably to Super Nintendo, let's say if I was paying that amount, you know, that would be too much for that type of game. But then when you have something with higher graphics, higher design, higher abilities, higher, like, you know, animations, then that, and you know, you're paying $60, the same amount when you would pay for something for like Link to the Past or Super Mario World or Super Mario 64, then, you know, that's a pretty damn good deal. You're still paying the same amount. You're just getting enhanced gameplay, enhanced story, and enhanced animation and graphics. They would possibly charge you more for that, but they didn't, because that would be the lowest of what they have to sell in the market. Now, here's the biggest load of ignorance I have to fucking deal with. Like literally, I just look at it and I'm just like wondering, like, what type of shit are people on? Is it that people are drinking too much, people are taking too many drugs, or is it that, you know, I don't know, probably your parents or siblings? And I don't mean to say stuff like this, but it gets to a point where they try to go ahead and compare games like this to like The Witcher, which are two different games, which are two different companies, which is absolutely ridiculous. Like, jeez. And they try to do the exact same thing with like Ocarina of Time and this. You really think Ocarina of Time looks just as good as this? Or probably looks better than this? You really want to try to compare The Witcher from a different company to this? Two different styles of animation, two different styles of like design. You want to compare it to this? That makes absolutely no freaking sense. That makes no sense. That's like me comparing Super Mario World, I would say Super Mario World U to Shovel Knight based on graphics, and say, oh, you know what? You know what? Like, oh, this looks better than this, or it looks like, or this looks exactly like Shovel Knight, when it's just the way it looks. First of all, Ocarina of Time looked like that because of the fact that that's how high the system was. This was Nintendo 64 and PlayStation. The graphics back then were not like what they are now. It's absolutely ridiculous that you just look at a group of trees and that automatically is that bad. What the hell are you going to do with the trees besides the ones with the berries? The ones with the berries are absolutely detailed. What are you going to do with the trees? What, are you just going to go ahead and just like start using your Pokemon to chop down trees? Which you can't do. Are you going to fuck the trees? No, you can't do that either. Like you're not interacting with the trees unless it's the ones with the berries. And the ones with the berries are highly animated and also highly graphically enhanced. And you want to do those comparisons. It's just blatant stupidity. Two different games, two different companies. And you want to do that comparison. It's so dumb. It's so dumb. It's so absolutely dumb. Like, I don't know where people have that mindset. I don't know where that is. And I see a lot of these memes coming from the hashtag Game Freak Lied. It's like, come on, guys. Like, seriously. It's one thing to like or dislike a product, but then when you go ahead and nitpick over that little stupid shit that doesn't make no difference, or that they're not gonna fucking want to change because it's nitpicking, and yeah, it really makes no sense. It sounds fucking dumb. It sounds absolutely stupid. I hate the stupidity that people think that $60 for a game now is literally a lot for what they're getting. It kind of is why the consumer has no control of it, because of the fact that, you know, gaming companies won't be making any type of money doing that. It's like, if I had my consumers go ahead and they pick the price of every game I made, I would be broke. I would not be in my apartment right now. I would not be paying for anything right now. I'd probably go hungry in the streets. It's sad of how this gets through. And you know what? I understand criticism and you can take it, but it goes far out the window when you have people throwing those death threats. It's so ridiculous. And then people try to go ahead and be like, oh, you know what? There's a reason for that. It's like, there is no reason to go ahead and throw death threats at someone who's trying to do his fucking job. It's ridiculous. For those who are in the hashtag Game Freak Light, I don't stand with you guys at all. I don't stand with any of you at all. Not at all. I really hope you guys open your eyes. I really hope you guys get a little bit more educated, because it sounds very dumb. You know, with some of the things that I see on Twitter and Facebook, it's so ridiculous. It's so absolutely ridiculous. And, you know, as I said, I have so much issues with people saying all that stupid shit because of the fact that when you make this hashtag and you go ahead and criticize so much out of it, people will see that. And then when people see that and combat against it, they get upset. It's like, why are you combating against it? Oh, I see you're willing to take anything. What makes you think that your standard is what they're aiming for? They don't have to aim at a group of probably 100 people standard over a large group of people that actually like the game, that bought the game, that enjoyed the game. It's so ludicrous. It's so ridiculous. It's like, I don't know. Maybe some people, especially in this hashtag, need to take the silver spoon out their mouths and shove it, because of the fact that it's so ridiculous. It's so dumb. And then people are like, oh, I'm not going to buy the game. Like, okay, don't buy the game. What makes you think it's going to stop other people from buying it? And if other people do buy it, where do you have a say about, like, oh, you know what, you're wasting your money, this and that? Like, shut up. People were bitching about the Pokedex. People were bitching about animations. Why do you need an animation for Tail Whip? Bite, crunch, jaw lock, freaking, I would say, yeah, bite, crunch, jaw lock, thunder chomp, or like thunder bite, stuff like that. All have the same animations, just slightly changed. It's been like that for all Pokemon games. It's ridiculous. And I'm like, this is so dumb. It's like, this is ridiculous to actually freaking just get all pissy and all upset upon. For those who haven't tried the game yet, and just because of what it looks like, grab the game, give it a fucking try. It's funny. It's just funny because of the fact that you haven't tried the game. Guess what? You want to give criticism in it. That makes it even less worth anything. You didn't try the game. You just looked at it. Boom. Oh, it just looks terrible. I'm not gonna buy it. Wow. You make your opinion worth even less, and your criticism even more useless. But that's what I have to say. Let me know what you guys think. Go ahead and just comment on what you guys think. But definitely subscribe to the EHG community. Definitely turn on your notifications when we get new streams and new videos set out. And definitely join us on our Facebook group, our Discord channel, and make sure to subscribe to the moderators in the description. And make sure to also to support our sponsors in the beginning of the video. But this is your boy CrazyMaze98, aka Nicholas Morales, founder of the EHG community, and stay tuned for another episode of the EHG podcast.